This one happened really close to the beginning of my mission and was really special to me. The elders had just baptized a woman. They had just baptized a woman, and she had a family of small children. Most of them were small, under the age of 8, except for her oldest, which was about 11, and she didn't want to hear it. The mother was trying really hard to get her to listen to the missionaries, and she didn't want to. She kept running away, hanging out with her friends past bedtime and things like that, just so she wouldn't have to talk to them. The elders felt like they should have the sisters go and teach her. So me and my companion went to the elders area. It was really far away. It took about an extra hour of our time, but we didn't care. We're missionaries. You do what you do. Do what you gotta do. And we were introduced to this girl. At first she didn't want to listen to us either. She hid under the chair, fell asleep once in the middle of a lesson. One time she cried because her mother wouldn't let her hang out with her friends. But then one day a friend from like next door came over and started listening to us. So she started listening to us too. And her friend was told to stop listening to us, so I thought that she'd stop too, but she didn't. The Spirit had finally had a chance to touch her heart, and she started to really understand what this was all about. So she started listening on her own. When we asked her, do you feel like you're getting an answer about the Book of Mormon? And she said yes, and we asked her why. And here's some wisdom that she just showed that she had a lot of wisdom. She says, well, when I pray about it first, I understand it more. That was her version of feeling the Spirit. And I think that a lot of times we just kind of expect it to be a voice in our head, and it's not always that way. And this girl had never been told much about the Spirit, and she already knew that the Spirit was communicating with her in a different way. And she started like making reminders to pray, because we'd ask her and she said, oh no, I haven't. So she started making reminders on her own, and she'd keep a bookmark in her Book of Mormon. And she started to come to church by herself once or twice. Her mother couldn't come, so she came by herself. I'll admit there was a bit of a ruckus when we first interviewed her, because she didn't pay attention to the first 2 lessons. And we thought that we reviewed them, but it turned out we didn't, because after the elder asked the question, she's like, I don't know. So we had to go back and redo the first 2 lessons. So if they fail their first baptismal interview, most of the time it's fine. It happens. Like they feel nervous about their testimony about 1 or 2 things, and then you just teach according to that, and 1 or 2 weeks later, they pass the interview and they're baptized. So this girl was baptized. I'd love to get back in touch with her, but her mother moved the kids to the province, and her mother went to work abroad. And I don't even know what province. I tried to look for her on Facebook. I can't find her. But she felt the Spirit. It taught me that different people feel it in different ways. And sometimes they understand it a lot better than you expect, which was really cool. So she was the first baptism of my mission, and that was really cool. She was the first real baptism, the first person that I knew, that I watched, dressed in white, get into the waters. And that was really special to me. Another person that was special to me was a less active. I'm still kind of in touch with her. She originally didn't want to show any interest in the church, but when we started talking to her, I guess we seemed a little bit more like friends than the past missionaries had been. Because she actually... And we started asking her to come to lessons, because there's a rule in the mission that you can't teach a guy alone in his house without a third woman with you. We call it the third babae, because babae means woman in Tagalog. So we started asking her, because we knew that she wasn't doing anything. So we'd be like, hey, we really need to teach this guy. He really wants to learn, but we can't teach him. Can you just kind of come with us? And she was enough of a friend that she started doing that, and she started coming to church on her own. She started bringing her friends. She started feeling the Spirit in her life, and she felt like, she said it was kind of weird because she started talking about Jesus in regular conversations, and she felt it was kind of awkward at first. But I told her, as missionaries, you get used to it. She really started to feel changes in her life, and she started to share it with people because she understood that there was something worth sharing. And that was really cool. And I really kind of miss her because she was fun. She was fun to talk to, fun to be with, a good friend. That was one way that I learned to feel the Spirit that I didn't know before. Like, when you're in a house for the very first time and you just start talking to them, the Spirit tells them that you're a person to trust. So these people that you've met for the first time just start unloading all their burdens on you. It's a bit much at first, because, I mean, you're a 21-year-old who's only been on one date in their whole life, and suddenly this guy who's been married for 30 years is asking you for marriage advice, and you're like, how the freak? I don't know anything about this. But the Spirit will guide you on the things that matter the most. As long as you're following the mission rules anyway. If you're not, then you're gonna be so lost. But the Spirit, He can make people feel like your friends, even when you just meet them for the very first time. And they feel like they can trust you, even though they've only known you for 5 minutes. And you start seeing those people right away.